Hi everyone, Dr. Lisa here. In today's video, I'm going to talk about hormone disruptors. I've mentioned them in a number of other videos, and so today I want to take a deep dive into what they are and where we find them. So this is actually going to be part one of a two-part video series on hormone disruptors. So by definition, hormone disruptors are chemicals that may interfere with our body's endocrine system and produce adverse developmental, reproductive, neurological, and immune effects. Okay, so what does that mean? Let me translate for you. So basically what that means is that we have chemicals that are coming into our body that have unwanted or bad effects on how we develop. That's especially true for babies and kids. They also have unwanted or bad effects on fertility, which is our ability to become pregnant and produce viable sperm for women and men respectively. Have unwanted effects or bad effects on our nervous system and our immune system. So in a nutshell, it is affecting how our body normally functions, and that is never a good thing. Our bodies were set up to function a specific way for very specific reasons, and it's really best not to mess with that and let our body do what it does best. Now, sometimes you will hear that hormone disruptors called endocrine disruptors, and the reason for that is that they affect our endocrine system, like I mentioned. And our endocrine system is the system that includes all of our hormones: estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, cortisol, thyroid hormones. And these hormones are the things that help with our sleep cycle. They help us go to sleep. They help us stay asleep. They wake us up when it's time to wake up. They give us energy. They help to control our blood sugar levels. They make it either easy or not easy to get pregnant. And they also control how well our body adapts to stress. So they are very, very important, and they do all kinds of things that we don't even think about or realize unless something is going wrong. So endocrine disruptors are the same thing as hormone disruptors, and like I said, that's because they affect our hormones, and they do that by either increasing the production of certain hormones, decreasing the production of certain hormones. They may potentially imitate hormones in the body, and so therefore the body's like, I don't know what's going on here. You look like estrogen, but I don't know what to do with you. And they may turn some hormones into other kinds of hormones. So they are throwing off our body's natural hormone balance. So it's basically like, think about having being in a factory and having an assembly line. And every single person in the assembly line, every station is working how it's supposed to be. It's a well-oiled machine. At the end of the assembly line, we're getting the parts and the products that we intended to get. Well, then let's say somebody comes in and they're an imposter and they switch out places with somebody, except they have no training in this job. And so they start putting the parts together wrong. And so we get to the end of the line and the product doesn't work the way that we want it to. That's what happens with endocrine disruptors. It's playing around, messing up all the different parts of the assembly line, which is having both immediate and long-term consequences for us as far as our health is concerned. So endocrine and hormone disruptors are actually having a major, major impact on our health. Surprisingly, we've been able to study this, and studies show that endocrine and hormone disruptors are causing $340 billion, with a B, $billion in healthcare costs. That is amazing, you guys. So why is that? Well, basically because our hormone system is such a delicate balance. Our endocrine system is such a delicate balance of these hormones all working together in a synchronized form, and they play off of each other. And so if one is too high, then there's one to counteract it, and the body knows how to take care of all of that. But when we start introducing these outside sources that are influencing our hormones, then the body gets really out of whack, and it leads to disease and chronic health issues and so on. What's really interesting though is that it only takes a tiny amount for the whole endocrine system or hormone balance to be thrown out of whack. In fact, the analogy that's used is it's like putting one drop of hormone disruptors in an Olympic-sized pool. That's all that's needed to throw it off. And I can tell you that because about 90+% of the things that we come in contact with every day, personal care products, cookware, things in the air, our furniture, all sorts of things, that we are getting way more than just one drop. So in the next video, what I want to go over is I'm going to list for you the top 9 sources of endocrine or hormone disruptors. We'll talk about how they're affecting the body and some safer ways to minimize them.